back today with a 2008 S2000 CR. So CR stands for Club Racer, so that's what the two small characters under the S2000 emblem mean. And this car is going to be in a Apex Blue Pearl, so it's going to be one color that's unique to the S2000 CR. And you'll see some features on this car that are, so this car has obviously been modified, but there are certain parts to it. For example, the front lip here, which is unique to the CR. And then on the back here, the tonneau cover, and then this wing that's also going to be OEM. And then on the interior, we have the carbon Kevlar cloth on the seats. So it's going to be Alcantara and on the door panels as well. So the original steering wheel is going to have yellow stitching, which makes it different from a stock S2000 or a normal standard S2000. And then the center console on this car has been changed to the Renegade carbon fiber, the race piece. Also has a Renegade short shifter, but it has an extension on it because without it, it's going to be a little bit, too long. And then for wheels, we have Advan RGD in S2K spec. So the fenders on this car have not been rolled, and the car hasn't ever been rubbed. So this car is, body-wise is in perfect condition. So this particular car is the first S2000 that I've ever driven in my life, and this is the car that kind of got me into S2000s. This one, 20,000 miles. So when he got the car, it was probably like 15, maybe less, I think. I don't remember that exact amount. And then you'll see that the mirrors have also been modified, so that's going to be a spoon. And then there's also a splitter protector underneath here on the bottom. Project Kicks lug nuts. So S2000s, on CRs, they come stock with this clear blinker. And then he has the arc taillights. And then a J's Racing diffuser with a Powerhouse Amuse full titanium exhaust here. So the S2000 CR, the Club Racer, is going to be limited worldwide to 699 units. And there are about 300 of them in this colorway. So Apex Blue Pearl. So the other colors are going to be, I think, Rio, so it's going to be yellow, and then Berlina Black, and then GPW, so black and white. So this car was only made for the US market. So only the United States has a CR, but a lot of them have been exported to Taiwan and to other places in the world. But even Japan doesn't have it. They have the Type S, which essentially is the same, but it has a soft top unit, so it doesn't have this tonneau cover. And this is also one part that I do want to get for my car because I don't have a soft top and I have a roll bar and I just have the empty stuff. And apparently this does fit with my roll bar. Looking at the exterior of the car, it looks rather subtle, but it does break a lot of necks for being, an S2000. So obviously this car, since it's such a low mileage example, asking prices are obviously going to be high. They're going to be like 40, 50,000, which is what the car is stickered at originally, which is kind of crazy. So there's a white GPW and I believe a yellow Delete that they sold for somewhere around 70,000. And then obviously, there are some aftermarket parts, but you can go back to stock. This car does come with all the stock parts. So you can either buy this car as is or, with all the stock parts, but it's not for sale right now, maybe in a year or so, who knows. But obviously, if the price is right, anything's for sale, right? So obviously we'll go on to some driving portions, and then we can see how you guys, like the exhaust. We'll have some exhaust noises. So like I said, it's a full titanium catback. So the check engine light on this car is going to be because it's a full titanium header back, and sorry, not catback, yeah, header back. And then there's no O2 port for the O2 bung, so thus the car is not reading right, and so it's going to throw that check engine. So there's no tune on this car. Everything in the motor is completely stock minus the exhaust. And then, like I said, this car's on KW V3s, and I'll give you guys a little bit more detail about the how those handle. And then this car's also on Advan 808Rs, which are, in my opinion, the best extreme, summer tires that you can buy. And then obviously a J's Racing diffuser, and then the same green light that my car comes with, or my car has as well. And so Powerhouse Amuse R1000 is going to be the exhaust, and you can see that burn on the exhaust is going to be something unique to Powerhouse Amuse. So we're into the driving portion now. And so, like I've probably said this in previous videos, but once again, AP1, so your 00s to 03s are probably your most raw cars, and then your AP2s are going to be a little softer. So 0405 are not, so they're a little you're in that price range of about $2,000 plus. But I personally enjoy the Ohlins with the custom setup, with the custom, what is it? Custom spring rate. That would be my preference. But if you're looking for something streetable, then obviously KW V3s will get you the height that you want, because they are, I think they're double or triple adjustable. And then for track, I would suggest the Ohlins. But if you're going above that, then I would suggest getting a minor pole. Obviously, you get more of that in some of the B-roll. But for street-wise, KW V3 is, it's a good choice. But for the track, it's not stiff enough. It's not stiff enough unless you have the custom spring rates, which I don't know if KW does do or not. I have GRZ Pro 2s on my car, and then I had Pro 1s on my old car. And so the steering response on this car, it has, I think it's a stock width tire on there. I have to double check, but it's narrower than mine. So I'm using 265 or 285 with the 18 wheel. So that kind of numbs the steering response. But in this car, the steering input is very, very sharp. There does feel like a little bit of lag, even though the CR does have a quicker steering ratio than normal S2000s. Sometimes I find myself, I'm turning this much, but the car's only going there, so maybe a little bit of understeer. And then the shifter, the stock shifter, I enjoy a lot. But obviously here with this short shifter and the extension, it works very well. And once again, the shifter, the short shifter is from Renegade Motorsports. Same with the this carbon piece here in the center. And it does make shifting very quick, but I don't know about on track, because some people who don't have the extension just have the short shifter by itself and a short knob. They have, I have heard stories where people have misshifted and over revved, and obviously blows your motor. So AP2s do have a little bit of a stronger motor with the valves, the valve retainers, because the valve retainers on the AP1 do tend to, if you over rev, or even if you don't over rev, they crack, and then once that happens, your valve just drops into the motor, blows up. But anyways, back to the CR. The CR has, from stock, it has OEM suspension, so it's very similar to what you're going to get on regular S2000s, all your AP2s, but it was made by Mugen. So Mugen, if you don't know, is a company that that the son of Honda, the founder of Honda, did. And then once we go from there, it's only a little bit stiffer. And then in the back, there is going to be a, what is it? It's going to be a stiffer strut bar, I believe, for the rear, or a strut tower bar. It's not really a strut tower bar. There's this little bar in the back here. If you take out so where the spare tire goes, it's going to have that, that little bar. And then other than that, it's just external differences, the quicker steering ratio. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it is quicker than your regular S2000s. And obviously, one thing I like to review about so I had a little detour there, had this lady pull up in front of me, pull out in front of me, and stop in the middle of the road. Doesn't know where she's going. And so, besides the quicker steering stuff, obviously this is all the exterior, and then just that suspension, a little bit of the chassis bracing, and then like I said before, the unique color on this car. I just sometimes forget how easy it is to drive a stock bodied S2000, without all the hassles of having to, worry about your wide body and everything. I do want a CR. A CR is on the top of my list as well for another car that I do want to own, alongside the current S2000 and another regular S2000. I do want to get another AP1. But then this car is, it was the first S2000 that I ever drove. So this was the one that made me fall in love with S2000s. But granted, at that point in time when I first drove this car back in, I think 2012, this car was completely stock. And even then, the handling is very good. But, some people say it's a race car for, road legal race car. I wouldn't say as much as that, because even on the stock suspension, it is a little soft, so there will be a little body roll. But obviously for a car, you know, out of the box that you want to take to the track, this car does handle very well. And it is very capable at the ridge as well with just a set of tires and pads. This car has the OEM brakes, so obviously the feel is going to be soft compared to what I'm normally used to. And with this exhaust, it definitely has a different tone compared to your other stainless steel exhausts. So I haven't heard a Tome. Well, I've heard only one Tome, but it's loud, but it is very raspy. This one is raspy as well, but it doesn't sound like a lawnmower like my car does. And obviously you'll hear that in some of the exhaust clips that, you know, I'm going to be throwing in here. And with the screw mirrors, you know, they're unadjustable. So regular S2000s come with the OEM mirrors that are powered, so you can adjust them. And some other things about this car is the two side pieces. So the piece here, and there's a piece over there. That's where the hardtop goes. So essentially, you know, you have to put that piece cover back on when you take the top off. Otherwise, it looks kind of incomplete. And the soft top, there is no soft top in this car. It's a hardtop only. So that's the one unique thing to this car, because this was the only model of S2000 that was made without a soft top. Even Japan doesn't have it, so they have the Type S, which I kind of mentioned previously already. And then, you know, all this interior, it does make the car feel timeless. Even though this car was made in 2008, the first S2000 was in 1999, but this car today is still very modern. It's still very modern looking. The CR, especially in this color, does turn a lot of heads, and the tonneau cover in the back does, you know, get a lot of attention. And it's a piece that's rather expensive. It's $1,000, and then plus hardware and stuff, so all said and done, it's about $1,500. And then for the interior here, for the steering wheel, we have a Momo Monte Carlo. So it's going to be 330 millimeter, and then it's going to have the Honda NSX-R horn and that hover in here. So then let me see if I can get a little pull in here for you. So this car also does have a shift light, which regular S2000s don't have. Starts blinking about a couple hundred RPM before you actually do have to shift. So let's slow down here. So this car is still a driver's car, even after being, you know, even being softer compared to the other S2000s. You know, the manual transmission, the transmission is still one of the best. You know, obviously besides Porsche, that I've ever driven and that I enjoy a lot. It's very precise, very direct. See, downshifts are very easy. Steering input. I mean, there is traction control, but obviously this car doesn't have enough power to use the traction control much unless it's cold and wet. But then earlier models don't have GCS. It's just that it's not very usable because obviously there's not much trunk space. If you didn't have the tonneau cover, I usually tuck things back there with my roll cage. But these are some of the reasons now why I think this car is appreciating so much. That one term again, driver's car, driver's oriented car. And the way you sit in this car, the positioning is perfect, even though you can't adjust the steering wheel. So for me, I'd have to get a new seat. Those are two mods that I always have to get, either a seat or a steering wheel, and this car has a steering wheel setup. So, you know, when you're sitting in it, you sit basically on the ground if you had a bucket seat with the floor-mounted pedals, or sorry, not pedals, brackets, which is what I have on my car. So that does make the driving experience a lot better. But I hope you guys liked this video, the short video on why I love the S2000, and this is the first one that I've driven. And, you know, obviously